Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Wounds to Wisdom podcast. I'm your host, George, and this is Bern.
So, welcome back to our beautiful, gorgeous friend Shazza from Townsville, where we used to live. We're looking a little weary because we've had a whole week of work.
We're fucking exhausted, man.
We are. Thank God we're going to Bali
tired.
Monday. It's like, whoo! But thanks for sticking around for a whole week with us. Thanks for sharing yourself with us. So we'd like to pick up from where we kind of ended up in part one. And that was basically we've gotten to the part of where you've got your cancer story.
That came out of the blue. 2017, I was diagnosed and with early breast cancer, and then again in 2021, which is 4 years, with secondary breast cancer, which is metastatic breast cancer, which is stage 4.
Right. So for those who don't know, because this is your jam, to go out into the world and educate people on asking all the questions. And that's both sides of the coin, isn't it? That is both the people with the cancer as well as the people surrounding them and just the general public, because you don't mind answering questions.
No. So I find it questions are helping me process things too, because I like to get as much information as I can about the disease, and then how I process how that eventually might happen to me or may not happen to me. It just gives me a better insight as to the whole disease, because I've found it's layered. It's not just as simple as you've got cancer, it's a life-ending disease. It's actually things that you have to deal with on the way through to that.
Do you want to share some of those things that you've had to deal with? Because I know you've also been on another podcast just recently. I can't remember the lady's name, but I'd love to give her a plug. Do you remember it?
It was Motherhood and Cancer.
Motherhood and Cancer.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So can you give us a bit of an overview? Give us your rendition, or when you get up in front of all your, as you call, doctors with all these letters beside their names. Give us something that you want people to know about it.
I think for everybody, the main thing I want people to know is it exists. There are thousands, tens of thousands of women with the disease who are not seen. So in order for us to be seen, we who have it have to start coming out of our lounge rooms in our houses and start talking about it.
So can I just clarify there, you are specifically talking about
metastatic breast cancer, which is stage 4.
Stage 4, specifically, because
not all cancers, just this is my experience with what I have.
Yeah.
And because I noticed when I had early breast cancer, there was a lot of support everywhere. But as soon as, and my appointments would be like 45 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes. Then I went to stage 4. I'm lucky to see my doctors for 10 minutes, 5 minutes sometimes.
Wow.
And they don't look at me. So when you have a disease like that, for me, it become language was very important around me, and I would look for differences in people with or without the cancer. And I usually like to educate the doctors, because they're new coming out, and just for clarity, I speak to graduating doctors and nurses on my lived experience in the hospital as a patient.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important, because some of us have been told that's your lot in life, you've got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, that's unforgivable to me, because that person had 4 or 5 kids,
Yeah.
youngest being 4, eldest being 21, and that's her lot in life. She's got to deal with it.
Yeah.
So just picking up, talking to different women and hearing their stories and hearing their difficulties, being regional and being close to rural centres, I just noticed there was nothing there because we're living longer now.
Yeah.
Years ago, when you would get a diagnosis, you had probably 6 months, 2 years, or 2 to 5.
Yeah.
Now we're living to 10, 15, 20.
Yeah.
Not all. Some pass away relatively quickly.
Yeah.
And we carry a great burden of side effects because there's no end to our medication or our chemo or our drugs.
Yeah.
And we need support to be able to do that physically, and it's also a mental load as well.
Yes, and from what I can gather from our discussions all week, that mental health component is massive, and you've done a lot of research on it and found out a lot about it, that is actually a really imperative part of the journey. Because can you explain it? Because you actually explained it really, really well last night. You said something about if the brain is not at a...
In my experience, if I go into my treatment feeling a little bit flat, a little bit deflated, the treatment I have is 2 big injections in my back, there's a muscle there, in flanks,
Yep.
in my arse.
Yeah.
And above
And
my
we're talking
arse.
anxiety, fear, everything.
Yeah.
If you've got any type of big emotions going on.
Yep. I don't feel I've coped with, 1, the actual treatment itself, 2, the side effects afterwards. It's just a drain for a week. Whereas if I go in really pumped because I've got something excited to happen, John may come with me and we have a bit of a joke on the way in, or it's like, okay, let's just get this done and then we're off.
Yep.
So my mental health determines how I treat my treatment and how I recover for that month.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And that was huge because in the regional and the rural areas, there is no cancer psychologists at all.
Not that I have come in contact with.
Right. So that's what you're kind of rallying is
Yes.
beginning to rally to get these different resources to the area so that, people in rural areas and regional areas matter just as much as people in city areas.
And it's a I can't say the word statistic. We die faster with our disease than our metro girls.
Because you're more isolated?
Because most of the time we have no access to trials, and a lot of the trials need us to be in their city.
Yeah.
And that's difficult. We've got to uproot a health family in case that trial keeps us alive for even longer.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's very fair with digital these days, technology.
Yeah.
The drugs can be flowing up. We definitely have educated people and professionals to deliver that treatment. And why can't we Zoom?
Yeah.
It's all too...
So can I just tell the story of yesterday? We were sitting on the couch doing a little bit of work and Sharon had a Zoom call. So she went into the bedroom and had this hour and a half Zoom call and then comes out and was fist bumping and was so absolutely high. And she comes out going, I absolutely love that. That was freaking awesome. And it was the fact that she was in a room full of all these people with all these alphabet at the end of their names, and you were asked for your opinion and your experience
As a patient.
And that's where you feel like you can make the most difference, getting in front of those people and saying, hey, this is not good enough. It's not good enough. Yeah, you're all smart, very intelligent people, but you're falling short for the patients.
I feel Queensland Health does it really, really well, but there's just gaps.
Yep.
And unless those gaps are identified and brought to their attention, nothing gets done.
Yep.
So I now, because of all the contacts I have within my hospital and I have a role community partner, so they call on me for my opinion or my lived experience in meetings with could be seniors of departments or it could be as high as the execs.
Yep.
And they were stunned to know that there were no government statistics on metastatic breast cancer in Queensland or Australia for that matter. Huh? It's like, oh, okay. So we still, to this day, don't have a definite number of how many there are in Australia.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how many, you don't know what is required. And a lot of the time it's being services who don't work in the metastatic space who are delivering services from a early breast cancer, or they just don't want us in that group because we're not the good news story, we're not the pink fluff.
Yeah.
So our community tends to stick to like social media or nowhere.
Yeah. When you were very first diagnosed, there was nothing.
No,
you actually began groups.
Yeah.
Actually began to rally and pull people together, specifically in Townsville.
Yes.
To have conversations, start conversations.
It's not a professionally led group. It's just a group of us women, and I've opened it to all cancers, not just stage 4 breast cancer. And we just sit and we talk about things that we may not want our families to, not that we don't want our families to know, but we don't feel that sometimes our families would understand or our support people because they don't walk in our shoes. We have it, they live with it. But even their experience, I don't know how that feels either. So we just wanted to get together, have a coffee, eat cake, and just hold each other if we're feeling really sad.
Yeah.
And I feel that that's been worthwhile for those girls as well.
Yeah.
As well as me, because it validates how you're feeling, because it's something new for you and your family. I'm feeling really down today. Is that something that's normal, or should I get a professional help?
So for people who don't know, stage 4 in cancer terminology is terminal.
Good question. Stage 4 is life-ending. It's treatable. It's not curable. I don't become terminal until I have no treatment options.
Right.
So, yes, I have a terminal disease, but I'm not terminal until there's no other option.
Right. Okay.
Because we live quite well. We can be in palliative care for up to as soon as we show any pain, because they manage our pain. But we're not termed terminal until we are literally dying.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
So,
but I thought I was terminal in my first year because no one explained that to me. And I saw the word palliative on my file. So I went home planning to die.
What was that like? That's kind of fucked up.
It was fucked up. It
took you to a very dark place, didn't it?
I, as a mum, I'm preparing my kids for when I was not going to be there. I didn't know where to turn.
You got your affairs in order.
Yeah, I started changing everything. I started doing all my death admin so that my family didn't have to do it. I was cleaning cupboards out because I didn't want my kids to see dirty cupboards. It was absolutely ridiculous.
So you were kind of manic about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if someone said, oh, you don't know how much time you have, you don't know that. How do you know that? Because my doctor knew it. But until I investigated it further, palliative, as I said, you can be in that system for many, many years because depending where your cancer is, they manage your pain relief. They will come to your house. Sorry, I have to make that clear, in Queensland. I'm not sure about other states. And then I kind of sat there one day and I thought, well, if I've got 2 years, 5 years, I've just wasted a fucking year of my life making sure everyone else around me was going to cope with me dying. But was I coping with me dying? I didn't really think I was at that point. I just want to be clear, the dying part, the actual physical act of dying, doesn't stress me at all, because we all, that's one club I don't feel like
You're
don't belong.
exclusive to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas it's just the mental load of constantly knowing you're going to die, because you know you're going to die, but you don't know what of. I pretty much got the key to that door. So it could be quicker.
Just recently that got turned on its ass as well, though. So maybe you don't.
No, maybe I don't, because not all of us die of actual cancer. We die of our bodies just failing, because our meds are really grueling at times. But it was more the grief side was getting quite heavy.
Could you share, back in that day and age when you were first diagnosed, could you share your analogy of how you saw your brain and how all the cupboards would... I love that analogy that you came up with.
So did a psychologist once. If you can close your eyes and just imagine hallways of cupboards. You could have a crooked cupboard, a rusty cupboard, a pink one, a purple one that's flailing in the breeze. You could have a bashed up one, a nice shiny one. They're all very different. And as I live and breathe, they sort of open and close, and just gently, one might come all the way open, and I have to think about that emotion, because those cupboards hold all my thoughts, emotions, feelings, fears, anxiety, everything. When you hear the words, "Oh, I'm really sorry, you've got cancer," I can honestly say it's like a punch in the guts, and every one of those cupboards flings open like it's a thunderstorm, and everything inside falls out in a big heap. The only way I could find peace was putting that stuff back in the cupboards. It didn't even have to be neat. It just had to be in the cupboards so that my cupboards could just float again. And at that time, those cupboards flew open. I had a drop-dead anxiety attack. And that's when I thought I was in trouble. But once I had that, and that was when I had my second diagnosis, once I had that panic attack and all the cupboards were shit and everything everywhere, it was, okay, I know what I'm going to die of eventually, possibly. Let's get on with it now. Not get on with dying, get on with living.
Yeah, yeah. So let's go and have a look at what do you want other cancer people to know?
Or anyone in general.
No, well, cancer people specifically?
Yes.
Because then we'll do the other side, because she's got there's two sort of things, or a couple of things that you want both sides
I've
to
had
know.
quite a few experiences where women who have had early breast cancer feel they're cured. No doctor or oncologist should say to you, you are 100% cured, because you're not always. The important part at the moment is, and the pink brigade use, is you have your 98% survival rate to 5 years. What happens after that isn't really talked about very much. And I got to 4 years and 9 months, and I feel like I failed that test.
Oh, bugger.
The first thing I said, I didn't even get to 5 years. So how can you check that the cancer doesn't come back if you don't understand what's after 5 years, or what's after 2 years, or what's after 3? because it can, in not all cases it does, but it can come back. And there's more of us every single year, we feel, by the stats that are kind of starting to happen. And every woman that dies of breast cancer does not die of early breast cancer. They die of metastatic breast cancer, and there's about 3,500 a year. So if we're growing, I imagine that amount will step up as well. And that's not to discount our men. I think there's about 300-400 with early breast cancer. There's probably about 200 with mets.
So you're saying to people specifically when they're in that time frame, what would you like them to do in that time frame? What did you learn that you I hate to say should, but what you should have been doing?
I kept asking my oncologist, how will I know if it's back? How will I know it's back? What does a backache feel like when it's full of cancer? And I kept asking these questions, and I kept getting, you'll know. Well, yes, I did have a backache. I was moving house. I had to sit down for a period of time after I'd been standing for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I was just getting but we were moving house. And I kept saying to everyone around me, I can't wait till all this is done so that I can go to the chiropractor. And luckily I didn't, because he would have caused a lot of damage. But just if you're unsure, I should have gone to the doctor, and you would think after having early breast cancer and not seeing a 3-centimetre lump that I would be on more alert. But I got a bit blasé. Don't get blasé. Because also see your GP, who will refer you.
And then the other side, what would you like people who don't have cancer but are supporting, or even just community?
I would like them to make dying a normal part of life, so that where people who have any kind of cancer can feel comfortable to talk about it. I think it's important we take responsibility for our own deaths as well, and not just leave it to the kids, because that to me is messy and irresponsible. I would also like them to know it's not helpful when you get told, oh, yeah, my auntie had cancer. Yeah, but she died. That's in you. I honestly would be wealthy.
That's fucked
If she had
up.
$1 every time someone said that to her,
Yeah.
That's fucked.
But you can also see the other side of that.
Absolutely.
And go, look, they're trying to find some way to connect to you and be able to have a conversation about it, and that's where their brain goes
to me, I'm like, if I can't relate to you, then I'm going to ask you questions to understand it better, but I'm not going to tell you that, someone I knew died.
Oh, dead set. Strangers.
I can't comprehend that.
Especially when I was wearing, when I had lost my hair in the early breast cancer, I call that the death cap, because that, as soon as I had to wear one of those, that was like a beacon. Look at me, I've got breast cancer. Excuse me. While you have hair, and then people will say to me all the time, and that's not any bearing on what you said to me, we know each other, but strangers will say, oh, but you look well. Yeah, I do. I feel fair. Other women in my community have been told, you're a fake because you're alive. They've been told, one example which I spoke about the other day in my social media, it just rattled me so much. I was absolutely so livid. She went to a early breast cancer event, which we kind of don't hang out there much, because we are the bad news people, and we understand that. And our needs are very different, very, very different. So she went and she had a metastatic on her T-shirt, and one of the ladies who was giving the talk, they were early stage breast cancer, came up and said, oh, you probably don't get this because you haven't got the real cancer.
So do you think that's coming from a place of just
They have early
not
breast cancer.
understanding.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, so this was coming from a person
from
who
a
had
person
breast
with early breast
But
cancer.
that's what you were saying. That's why you want to educate the oncologists and the people in the hospitals,
Yes.
because they're not educating the patients on what they need to know.
No, when I sit in the treatment part of the cancer centre and a woman who has early breast cancer sits beside me because they have the cap and says, "Oh, what are you here for? I'm having treatment soon." "Oh, have you just been diagnosed?" "No." "Oh, what stage are you?" 4. "Oh, so what's after 4? Or how long are you having treatment for?" Ever?
So they have no idea.
No, and this has happened, I can count on 4 or 5 people.
Wow.
I find that really upsetting, and that could be their fault because, I don't want to say their fault. It could be they haven't asked. They may not want to know. I don't know, but I just feel that is absolutely ridiculous when you have this disease and you don't know anything about it. So to me, I get very frustrated when people tell me to be positive all the time, and I usually am quite a positive person, but
0 to 100 if you tell me to be positive.
I will punch you in the throat. Shut up.
Positivity doesn't cure cancer, okay? And I have a lot of positivity in my life, but I just feel some days you don't, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be upbeat every 10 minutes of every day, but at the same time, I feel I am positive. But on the days where my head's in cancer land, I just want to be left alone. I want to have a pity party for a day, and then I'll move on and be positive. But we can't be positive all the time, sadly.
But that's pretty much anybody
That's
right across the
life.
board, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's an ebbs and flows. Our life ebbs and it flows, and we have cycles to it.
Yeah.
We're going to have... Look at me today. Come out of nowhere. It was like, where did that come from? And I was cranky and I was frustrated, and I don't know why I was like that.
Yeah.
But I just allowed it. And sometimes you just got to, as you said, just sit in it and allow it, because that helps us move through it a lot quicker.
Well, I really enjoy investigating how I think about things. Prior to Cancer Land to now, because it sits you on your ass. It makes you sit up and listen. You don't always pick it up. But I find it interesting to find out how I process things, because sometimes I do a good job and sometimes I'm extremely slow and But I just think us who have stage 4, we can't be cranky at others because we're not educating people either. And I'm a part of many social media groups, private groups just set up for people with Mets, and they can complain or they can say, "Oh, it's not fair, this and that." Well, sorry, go out and talk to people. Go out and share your story. Go out and say, "This is shit today, but tomorrow I'll have a good day." Unless you tell people, it's the same with anything in your life. Unless you tell people, I can't be cranky with them. So I stopped doing that, and that led me down the path of becoming a very strong advocate for people with women and men with stage 4 cancer. And then when you see what the big cities have compared to what we do, I think that's extremely unfair. So I also fight very hard for that.
So at this point, I would love for you to be able to, if you can, tell us what you've learned about, I guess, what you believe gave you cancer. Is that a fair question, or could you put it better?
In order to relax. I had to find a different way of life. The way I was living my life prior to cancer was very different to how I think I live it now. I go off track sometimes, but when I'm brought back, thanks to you.
Thanks to you. You did all the work. But what did that look like prior to?
Prior?
Yeah, give us a typical scenario.
A typical day, get up at 4:30, get dressed, get ready for work, make sure the kids are sorted, make sure their food. It was absolute chaos in our house. We ate shit because I had to grab whatever I could to feed everyone so I could get back to work. And I felt a very stressful job at that point. Mm-hmm. And I just couldn't sustain it anymore. So I walked out of that job and then was told I had cancer afterwards. Then I noticed when I sat still after many years after early breast cancer, because I just couldn't relax. I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin, and I was searching. I just seemed to search, and I started learning about what's the type of integrative medicine? Holistic side of things, because my self-care after early breast cancer, when I was released from the hospital, was walk for 30 minutes a day and be kind to yourself. No one had ever said that to me before. I actually Googled what be kind to yourself meant, and a cousin reached out and she said self-love. What? I don't know what that is. No one had. I was 57. No, what the fuck is that? No one's ever said that to me. So I started sort of investigating that a little bit, and I stumbled across a community and meditated and thought, whoa, this is pretty cool. Meditated, did some breath work, did some bowls, stood on the ground without shoes, providing there wasn't any mulch because of infections. And then I just started noticing how I had calmed and how people around me had started coming back instead of staying the distance because it was and then I started noticing, oh, wow, those waves at the beach sound really, really nice. I wouldn't mind coming down here more often. Oh, look at the shells on the beach. Oh, that tree's got a new leaf. It was like a switch after, I think, the first or second meditation day, because it just showed me that when you sit still, there's so much more to notice. There's so much more to understand about yourself and why you reacted certain ways, because that you had to, because you're in a hurry in that life cycle. I realised I don't need half the shit in my house. I don't need to do Kmart runs every 10 minutes because it's shit. Food was important. I got the love of cooking for my kids again. Things just calmed right down. And then I kind of got out of whack again, because peeling back another layer once I had stage 4 was, how do you deal with the amount of death around you all the time? And I hadn't thought of that in that first year where I was processing how all this was. And I didn't realise how much that would affect me, because if someone famous dies, that's in your face all the time. Then when people who you like and love start to fall away, it's like a big sign, this could be you, this could be you.
Yeah.
So then, and I thought I was doing really well dealing with that, but I think there were so many so fast. It caught up with me, and I went to a few dark places.
And do you want to share how you've gotten out of those dark places?
Well, I think how I got in was I forgot the things that I was practicing prior to keep me calm and to keep me level-headed.
Self-love.
Yeah.
Self-care.
Yeah.
filling your cup first, so that then you can give from a full cup. When we give and give and give, and we're so empty already, you know. And what we found with you is you are a nurturer. You are born. It is in your absolute. It runs in your veins. You are a nurturer, but you're learning to nurture yourself first.
That was foreign. And honestly, God, I wish I had have known this back then. And only just as a woman.
Yeah.
You know, I just found cancer took so much. It took some of my body, when you lose your hair, you just feel so horrible.
Yeah.
And when you hear it's only hair, it'll grow back, go fuck yourself. You go and shave your head, walk around with a big mole on the front of your head and scars. No, it's not just hair. For me, hair is I fondled my hair when I met John. My children played with it when I breastfed.
Yeah. It meant something to you.
It was part of my identity.
Yeah.
I just was broken when I lost my hair. I was just horrid. And to people who don't lose it through sickness, I don't think they can get that. If you choose to cut it off, that's fine. But I did not choose. And I would never have chosen to be bald. And I remember standing in Stockland, one of our shopping centres, where all the aisles meet, and I stood there and I did a 360 and I looked around and everything was moving so fast and I just wanted to scream, will you just stop? I've got cancer.
Yeah.
Because even though I had cancer, all the world keeps going.
Yeah.
And that was such an eye-opener to me. It's like you're not as significant as you think you are, because when you're gone, it's all still there.
Yeah. To face that mortality is quite confronting, isn't it? So you can understand how people don't want to do it. Like I read you my death story today, and it was a fear that was so visceral in me as a child. It just kept me awake for so long. But when you finally make peace with that, can you? It's
calm. It's really calming.
Yeah. You're no longer on the treadmill of, what about this, what about that, what if, all these what ifs.
Yeah.
You're actually like, it's all good.
Well, I found myself, the advice I would give my daughter she's a single mum, and the advice I would give instead of saying, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, it would be, don't sweat it. It's just stuff. It's just, don't worry about it. Doesn't matter if McKenna doesn't do her homework. Who cares? She doesn't like Japanese anyway. Whereas 5 years prior, I would have been up my kids' noses in 3 seconds flat because, oh, you need to do your homework. No, you don't.
Do you think that's got a lot to do with the patterns and the programming we've got that we're actually perpetuating and handing down? Yeah, we've done a lot of that this week, haven't we?
Yes.
We've looked at, reviewed your life a lot to see what's still running more subconsciously now, because you've done all the work that is right in front of you.
Yeah.
You know, the conscious stuff, there was a lot of subconscious stuff there that came through. Another layer to it all. But when we get to that place, like I know when you got here, your energy was quite high and you were
erratic. You felt manic.
I've been like that for
since December at least last year. Yeah, and that's when you lost another very significant person.
Yeah.
But this should be right. It's learnt pattern. Just power forward. Don't.
No worries. I can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not saying no. That nurturing you just keep going.
Yeah. I think because and I call it a pity party, but I don't feel it is, because I'm not there forever. I withdraw. I think about things. I used to get frustrated and angry, but that didn't last too long because that wasn't helping me. It was just making me, But if somebody passes away, it's usually I would say I give myself either days or weeks,
Yeah.
and then I tend to bump up. But it was just one after the other, and that sunk me.
Yeah.
But it's not until, and that led me to forget the things I was practicing prior, and then I was taking on more work, and I was doing more. I was spreading myself thin, and like I
Far
said to
too
you,
thin.
I was doing 100 things not very well. And I feel if I dropped a lot of that, I can then concentrate on the things that I absolutely love.
And that's
which
what
is
we've
the
done this
advocacy
week.
work.
We've put all the stuff that is superfluous and that is draining your energy.
And I actually feel I'm a bit
you are
slow today. I'm a bit tired.
well, yeah.
But because it
And
has been a very big week.
Because you've also had Reiki healing.
Yes.
And you've had a reading.
Yep.
From
Magnesium spa. I had a sauna.
Sauna, yes. You fought your fears to go and be in a sauna.
Fucking
We're
proud of
goddesses,
you.
baby.
We are so going to give a clap for that. You conquered your brain that day.
When I walked into that room and saw that steam in that room, I thought, oh my God, I can't even see. And then and did you see me when she was explaining it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I was I wasn't terrified. I was worried for you because I thought, oh, shit, I can see those cupboards coming open.
And the way I process things, like all I could focus on was 60-degree heat. I didn't even care what she said after that.
Yeah.
Because when I investigated it in Townsville, because I had heard infrared is very good for our bodies and recovery and things like that, I went in and he said to me, oh, we'll start you off at 45 degrees. And I said, yeah, no, that'd be great, thanks. I said, I'm in air conditioning at 30 and you want me to sit? Why? And then I've seen other people who online or whatever using them, and I kept thinking, I really want to do that, but fucking 45 degrees. I did 60. We did 60. And I'm
for
sorry.
25 minutes.
Yeah, not 5 minutes, 25 minutes.
Yep.
And how amazing. We went from there into the steam room and then outside to the coal bucket and then into the magnesium pool, which was divine.
And did you notice, I don't know how you felt, but when you came home, I just felt really clean.
Clean and absolutely spent, but in a good way.
Hey man, I came home, lied on the bed, and I passed out. I was like, I need to recover from that.
But then these old chicks should take a leaflet out of that, and maybe we should have, instead of kept chatting on the couch, maybe we should have went and grounded.
But we haven't seen each other for so
No,
long.
we haven't. You're right. So
We needed to.
that's our
You
excuse
can relax
anyway.
next week in Bali. I'll just go
I
home.
will totally relax next week in Bali.
So, what I want to know, and I know you got a little lost for a little while, but knowing the potential for at some point you're going to pass, how has that changed you living your life for, say, someone like me who worries about everything?
Georgia. Just you. Think of you. Things will happen around you. You just have to stay. I was always known as someone that I had nervous energy. Don't be so busy all the time. Notice the trees. Take a walk on the beach. Don't feel guilty for spending time for you. And I know you're just starting to understand all that, but you're going to have kids. You're going to have extensions or what have you. You really have to breathe. Don't work for stuff. I find that really frustrating now when and there's like trolleys of shit coming out. You don't need half the stuff that you have, honestly. Take half the spoons out of your utensil drawer. You don't need them all.
Oh, bro, we know.
And realise.
But do you know what I mean?
And realise if you are doing that, you're trying to fill a hole.
Yes.
You're trying to.
Yes.
to
you're shopping for
overcompensate
happiness.
for something that you're not
Yep.
getting.
And spend time with the man you love. So many times we don't make time for that.
Yes.
It's to me, that is so important. John and I always made time for each other, and don't feel guilty. And don't let your husband babysit the kids. They're his kids. Seriously, that chokes me to this
No, it
day.
doesn't. Remember? That self-talk, remember? No choking. It doesn't
Makes me
choke you at all.
frustrated.
It might frustrate
because they're
you.
his kids too. And I just went overseas with some girls and they were having mum guilt about leaving the kids at home. Fuck that. I took myself to Europe for 5 weeks. I don't feel guilty 1 minute about that.
But that is all learnt too. That is put on us by
Absolutely.
society. That's put on, handed down to us. It is.
I literally, until the last year that I've fell back into old habits, I literally would say no without any fear. I stopped people pleasing because that is huge. I didn't work, but I'm older than you.
No excuses. You don't have to make any.
No justifications.
None.
I took all the financial stress off myself. That's all John's. And now that I've said that, maybe he's stressed. I don't know. But I just think I don't want to do that. So anything I don't want to do, I will actually say, oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to do that. Or no, not
And
today.
the Shazza I met, there's no frigging way in the world she would have done that. Anything I asked her, yes, sir, definitely, yes, I can do that. Yes. There was never a no that ever come out of her mouth. No wonder you were at the point.
You still love me.
I did love you. I love you.
And once I started saying no, and honestly, I was like the no queen because I was noticing people weren't getting shitty with me like I, for 55 years, thought they would. Kerry would ask me to do something, I'm sorry, I can't do that, or I can't pick McKenna up today, whereas I would have made that my issue.
Yeah.
That, oh, God, I can't pick McKenna up, I better try and organise it, and I'd have it all worked out.
Who's not your child, your grandchild.
Yes, I would have it all worked out because I felt that was my responsibility. So I've just
And
said,
responsibilities are big for you. Even this time we've gone and there are responsibilities that you've taken on that are not yours.
Yes.
So we do it so easily, whereas
You don't
that's what
feel
makes
it
us
slipping in either.
stretched.
Especially if you're if you're having a wobble,
Yeah.
you just go back into that people pleasing because you may not like yourself.
Yeah.
Or you may not love yourself. You've fallen out of that. But I just know I live with men, sons and a husband, and they are far nicer people to be around when I'm happy within myself, not happy with anything else but who I am. And I get a real kick out of seeing that because that shows me that I am important in their lives, which I didn't realise. And the house kind of runs around how we feel too. You know, if you're in a bad mood, I guarantee your husband will be pussyfooting.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, and that works both ways. You know, it's always that checking in because I know my energy is a big energy and people feed off of that energy. So if I am cranky,
And Joel gets real skittish. He'll come
away.
home and he'll come in and he'll go, is Bern in a bad mood? And I'm like, I don't know. He goes, oh, I think she's in a bad mood. What'd you do?
Mess with his head and say it's
I
your
didn't
fault."
do anything.
But that's because I don't now. Because I've done all my work and I am at that point, I'm still human. I'm still going to have my ups and downs because life is ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
Yes.
But for the majority of it, I think I have a great friggin' life. I love life. I love where I live. I love what I've manifested. I think it's amazing. And it can only get better from here. But I have done 5 years hard work, pulling back those layers, checking under every rock, and felt everything I didn't feel or process in my earlier years, because it catches up with us, does it not?
Yep. Yeah.
And it can be, it makes us sick because we store it.
Yeah. I think what I've noticed just in the last week of you being here is that even though you haven't said all of what you just said previously, I've felt more like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care. Or I'm going to say no. Or no, I'm taking time for myself. I've sort of like felt like I've subconsciously gotten that from you or picked that up from you, and I'm going, you know what, that's a really cool way to live. That's probably the best way to fucking live. I'm going to do that.
When you don't give a shit what other people think, and trust me, I've grown up in a very small town where everybody had a shit about anything. What you were doing, when you were doing, how you were doing it. As soon as you
who you were doing it with. Oh, yeah.
As soon as you let that shit go, and that little voice has been on my back now for over 12 months, and I hate it. As soon as you don't care, you just do what you want. And I don't mean that in a harmful way. It's what is good for you. And, oh, God, it's so good to say that, because most of the time women don't dress for themselves. They dress for other women. It's not even the men in the room.
It's for the fashion.
I better not have my hair like that because the books say so, or that bloody TikTok says you can't do that.
Yeah.
And I just said to McKenna a couple of weeks ago, my granddaughter, I said, when I was your age, I wouldn't dress like the other girls because I didn't want to be like them. I like to be my style. Oh, I would never do that. And I thought, how sad.
Heaven forbid they should stand out. Whereas that is what we're all about, is that when you actually pull back those layers and get rid of all the shit that's not in alignment with you and who you're doing it for, because you usually are way down right underneath all that. You get to a point where it's like, and I'm so glad I've been able to show my daughters awesome. Because 25 years, now she's going to have 50 years or 25 years or 30 or whatever, how many ever years, more than a lifetime of fantastic, liberated, freeing time.
But you don't even know how fucking heavy it is until you take it off and you go, holy shit, fuck that shit off. That was heavy. I don't want to carry that around.
And you would know that because you did the work, and when you let it, when you actually pulled it all out of your backpack and put it down,
just feels so much lighter. And I can't wait to get home to just continue what I remember, because I know when my husband says, oh, you need to go and do your pottery, or because that calms my mind. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be all rosy, because
we're human.
It's up and down.
We're here to have a human experience.
But this week has taught me a really valuable lesson in the fact that it's okay to get down, but don't take on more, unload more.
Yeah. Always go back to your reflection and those triggers. When you're triggered, why? What's happening within me that makes me triggered about this subject? And start pulling it apart. It's the only way. Self-inquiry is the only way that you will liberate yourself from those triggers. And if you are being triggered 50 million times a day, then it's time you did some work for yourself, not for anyone else, but for yourself, and start to look at why. What is it? Like, you learned things about yourself this week that I would say you've been doing for a very long time, but has only just now stepped into the light because you were ready for it. You weren't ready for all that way back when you started. It's a process. It is definitely a process, of pulling back the layers and just allowing to what you learn to integrate it and embody it before you keep pushing forward, because that's a learned pattern. We've all learned to just keep pushing forward, just keep going. She'll be right, mate. She'll be right, she'll be right, she'll be right, she'll be right. and then we're sick.
And it's not. And don't have people in your life that don't bring you smiling, bring you smiles, bring you joy.
I
Honestly,
think
just flick them off nicely. You know, I have a lot of acquaintances, but I only have a handful of women in my life and a couple of men that, and sadly, they leave me, Bernie.
Hey, I'm only, 14 hours away?
only.
But
You were
they don't live in the
two-hour
same
plane flight.
town as me. I tend to collect people who I don't require in my face all the time, which are non-needy people.
But you did exactly the same thing with your husband. He's a FIFO, so you only have to live with him a certain amount of time. I think that's how you like it, because you get plenty of you time, but this time you time has been a little bit destructive rather than constructive.
Yes.
So going back and going, right, I'm going back to swim in the sea. I'm going back to the pottery. I'm going to go home and I'm going to get a cat.
Yes.
I'm going to go.
I forgot about that one. Yeah.
I'm going to go
That's
home.
up for negotiation. I know John will have a heart attack if I bring a cat home.
Why?
So eat the birds.
So besides the
We'll
point,
see if we get a cat.
There was multiple things that you were filling your cup, and to plug back into the spiritual community where you can go back to meditation, you can go back to sound baths, you can go back to grounding, you can go back to all those good stuff that feeds your soul, rather than emptying your soul out with all your worry and your sympathy for all the people that you're.
And also, when you're more relaxed, you can process easier, I think.
Totally.
When you're uptight, it nothing works.
Totally. Yeah. So, you know, I love that you have honoured yourself enough to take that time out, because as I said, I did not. I know Shaz. I thought I knew Shaz, and I got off the phone to her after he said, you should come down. Yeah. And I'm thinking, there is no way in hell she's going to put herself first and come down here. Next minute, I have a screenshot of flight tickets paid for, and I was like, I have to say, I was floored. I was absolutely floored, because I thought, yes, I get my friend to come visit me, but yes, I also get to be able to show you what I've manifested with a free mind and help you to manifest and you know, focus down on what it is you want to create in the world. And can I tell you all, look out, watch that space, because this chick
we mulled a lot over last night, didn't we?
Is going places and is going to create quite a big legacy in the world. So, but you'll be wanting lots of help with that, and you'll be reaching out to lots of people and learning how to ask for help. And
I feel confident in myself to do that now, because I think when I'm feeling, and I still got a lot of work to do, obviously, but I think the stronger I get within myself and the more I love myself, I really feel, because I have asked for things in the past. And I'm comfortable doing that. But when you're so uptight and you're so wound up in your own
all your
head,
energy is going off in different directions and not focused down on what it is you actually want to be doing.
I think I don't know what to ask for sometimes too.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine.
When I'm focused in my head as well.
So, you know, I wish you all the well, and I hope that you will actually come back and share once you've manifested your amazing dream into the world. Come back and share it again.
I will.
Okay.
I love you.
Thank you so much. I love you too. And thank you for sharing the week with us. Thank you for joining us on the couch today. We see you, we hear you, and we love you. Until next time, beautiful people.